Now, let's check in with the mayor of crime-riddled Chicago, Brandon Johnson, who thinks Republicans want a rematch of the Civil War.
The right wing in this country wants a rematch of the Civil War. I want that to sit in right now, because the President of the United States of America has declared war on the people of Chicago and people across America.
That's right.
He's more interested in giving billions of dollars to other nations, while farmers in urban cities around this country are literally being destabilized.
I'm lost for words. CJ, how does one respond to that? It's just, does he actually knows what happened in the Civil War? I think he needs a bit of a history lesson.
I think he needs very much a history lesson, because it's not Republicans who won a civil war, just as it wasn't just a few years ago when the actual Civil War happened. It was Democrats who waged that war. But what I would remind him of is the fact that Democrats lost that war. So if anyone doesn't want a civil war, it should be his very party, right? But what he should actually be concerning himself with, the Civil War happening in his very own city, in the city of Chicago, between the Crips and the Bloods and the gangster disciples, right? Like, that is what we're actually trying to combat. President Trump is trying to bring law and order to the city of Chicago. He's actually trying to save Black lives, because on the Republican Party side, we don't actually use Black Lives Matter as some type of tagline or some bumper sticker. We actually mean it. Black lives do indeed matter. And what's happening in the city of Chicago is that Black lives are disproportionately being taken away because of the soft on crime policies of mayors just like Brandon Johnson. And so, of course, it takes a bold and decisive leader like President Trump to step in. That's exactly what he's doing. And I got to tell you, when I talk to people in Chicago, when I actually go to the city of Chicago, people are saying we need a leader to step in, and President Trump is that leader.
Now, CJ, former FBI Director James Comey has pled not guilty overnight to allegations that he lied to Congress. The Democrats and their propaganda arm, the mainstream media, are claiming this entire prosecution is politically motivated and should be dismissed. But CJ, we've heard it time and time again, no one is above the law.
No one is above the law. You're exactly right, Rita. But what I've also heard from a lot of these Democrats is that this sets a dangerous precedent. Let's talk about who actually set this precedent, Rita. Right? It was President Joe Biden, his weaponized woke DOJ that went after every single Republican that dared to cross that administration. I'm talking about Steve Bannon. I'm talking about Peter Navarro. I'm talking about so many more people who were thrown into the gulag because simply they had the audacity to stand up for what they believe in and to support the America First agenda and the America First movement. And so, these tears are crocodile ones. I actually don't believe them at all. And I think that it's like long past due that the left actually gets their same treatment. And maybe that's when they'll realize that, when the shoe's on the other foot, it doesn't feel so good. But I'm not saying that this is even political. This is actually a real issue. If James Comey did lie before Congress, he should be held accountable, because, as you said, no one is above the law. I don't care if you're an FBI director or Clinton, whoever you may be. If you break the law in this country, this DOJ will hold you accountable.
Well, let's hope so, because for too long, Republicans have been guilty of pointing out how Democrats have broken the law, how they have weaponized institutions, but there really hasn't been consequences. So hopefully there will actually be some real consequences for people who have been complicit in that sort of behaviour. Now, this is a disturbing scene on the second anniversary of the October 7 attacks. Let's have a look at what was happening in New York City.
Our work is not done. We must show up. We must show up. Stronger than we did the first October 7th.
CJ, they chanted there, we will show up stronger than we did the first October 7. Congressman Brandon Gill has posted this about that footage you've just seen. He said, importing Islamic terrorists into America is suicidal. They all need to be deported. CJ, the people wanting peaceful Palestine don't seem to be too happy that President Trump is negotiating just that.
It's absolutely disgusting, and all those people in that video should be deported. There is no place in this country for people who are guests to this nation to be siding with a terrorist organization like Hamas. None at all. But what I'll tell you is that, breaking news just a few hours ago, we've seen President Trump actually bring Hamas and Israel to the table, and they have signed a ceasefire agreement. The first phase of it will quickly be taking effect. And so I got to tell you, blessed be the peacemakers, and President Trump is just that. And so, while there are a lot of people apparently who don't want peace, this president has been completely laser focused on achieving it. And I think that we are just inches away from it. And I don't think President Trump will get much credit from it from the left, but I think that if anyone deserves a Nobel Peace Prize, if Barack Obama can get a Nobel Peace Prize, then President Trump has certainly earned his.
Well, yeah, Barack basically got his for being elected. There was not much peace that he engineered for what I could see. Now, before you go, let's have a look at the social media output of the Department of Homeland Security. We are certainly in a new era. CJ, that makes me want to apply for a job with ICE.
I think you're exactly right. And I got to tell you, Rita, this is exactly what I voted for. But I actually want to take a moment to, appreciate the people behind it. Folks like my friends, Isabel Redfield, Micah Bach, who are doing all this incredible work without pay right now because of the Schumer shutdown. And so these people are just patriots. They're continuing to post, continuing to rally the troops, continuing to generate tens of thousands of ICE applicants because of the incredible work they're doing. And God bless them for it, because an America is not an America without secure borders, and they're working every single day to achieve that truth.
CJ Pearson, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.